Have we left off?
Hello and
Hello.
welcome to episode 3 of ManCave. I'm
Yo.
joined this week by the ever informed speaker of all things graphic novel related, Mike from Mike's Two
Hello.
Cents. Mike, how you been, mate?
I've been all right, thanks. It's
Yeah.
uh, it's a shame Andy couldn't be with us this week.
Yes.
I
Get
thought
right to it. Unfortunately, Andy's no longer with us.
no, he popped
Well,
out
for
to get
this
some
week.
bread.
Well, just for this week. I'm not. We're not breaking out the Kleenex.
No,
Not in that
no.
way. Not in that way. But
I think Andy is actually he's a secret agent,
he is.
so he has to
He's the
sometimes be.
secretest of agents. He
Yeah,
really is.
exactly. Danger is his middle name.
He is.
Andrew
So,
Danger Palmer. Oh
but
well.
yes. Well, you guys will come to get to know Andy a lot more over the coming months that we'll be doing this. So yeah, you'll see exactly where the danger element comes from.
Indeed,
So
indeed.
yeah, so Andy's not with us this week. We are going to. It's just me and Mike this week, so we're just gonna have to put up with our drivel without Andy to steady the ship. Andy, we miss you. Come back soon.
Yes, you do, bro.
Bang the chest a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna just hold the fort and everything, and we're on episode 3 now.
Mhm.
I'm quite liking that we're learning piece by piece how this is all going. People just, if you watch the live stream, comment, honestly, comment, have a look at our descriptions, and interact with the show by all means. I know we're just starting out, and everything really helps us. So it would be nice to see a little bit in there, but
All feedback is appreciated as long as it's delivered constructively.
this is YouTube, though. we're quite aware.
This is the internet.
This is the internet. So never mind. We're just gonna start with a normal thing. What have you been up to, mate?
Yeah.
What have you been up to this week? What's been going on? What's going down?
Oh, I've been up to gosh, what week is it? It's just
I
well,
know
I've been enjoying the heat wave, sudden heat wave we've been having. So
we
has been
have. It has been a good summer. It has been a
it
really good
was
summer.
it really is. Usually it's quite rubbish in the UK. It's usually all hail and thunderstorms in mid July and August. But no, it's been good. So I've been enjoying that a lot of the past few days. Apart
No,
from yeah.
honestly, I came home from work today, and I was driving in, and all the grass is really dry and burnt at the moment, and there's a real kind of humidity in the air that I actually, I thought that I was in a foreign country. I thought I was in Spain or something.
Gosh.
That's it. I mean, in my area, it's a bit of a microclimate anyway. We get more sunshine than a lot of places around the UK, but yeah, it was that dry. It was it really was. And the other weird thing as well, this blew my mind as well. I went down because I live near the seaside, so I went down and I had a look down at the seafront last night, and I swear the sea was blue and clear. I took some pictures of it. I didn't share them unfortunately here, but you could see right to the bottom, and I was like, "This is England. Why? I don't understand how this happened. Apparently, there's less salt or something because of all the hot weather we've been having." And this has caused this almost Mediterranean type water that we've got at the moment. So quid's in,
Yeah,
bring it on. More summers like this, I'll be quite happy.
I'm not going to lie, quite enjoyed that. I think we should change the format to be a weather forecast vlog. I really do.
There you go.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Sorted. Found our vocation.
I know. It's we've got a little bit of what is it? What's the weather study? Geology, meteorology.
Meteorology,
There you
which
go.
makes me sound like you're studying meteors, but yeah.
It does. It does sound like you're
It
studying meteors. We are sort of a comic book kind. No, that wasn't a very good segue. I don't think that worked at all. So
probably didn't.
I know I did try.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been enjoying it as well. I've got, I mean, I'm kind of I'm kind of happy. I got my ticket. I'm all signed up for Comic-Con.
That's of course what we did. Signed up to Comic-Con.
We did. We did. It's official. I'm going to go to my first Comic-Con. First ever Comic-Con. I'm a Comic-Con virgin.
Yeah.
Hope Comic-Con will be gentle with me.
You're not a seasoned comic book convention visitor like myself. This is going to be my third Comic-Con, believe it or not.
Third? Oh, savvy vet that you are.
No.
But you know how to get into all the cool areas.
You know what? I've only been to two, but one of them was Kapow Comic Con back when it first launched in 2011, and it only went on for 2 years because it was too expensive. Basically, what they tried to do was bring the San Diego Comic Con experience over to London,
right?
And they had it up in not the Excel Centre, another one in the Design Centre in Angel in London, and it was really good. We had Mark Miller there, Dave Gibbons, Frank Whiteley, and I was talking about this with Andy actually the other day, because the first Thor film was coming out around the time. They had Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston at the show before they became Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston.
Course,
so you didn't quite appreciate how they were going to become stars overnight thanks to that film. And after that, I went to SuperCon with Andy in 2012, which was instead a bit more of a pared down regular comic book convention, but they had Stan Lee as a visitor, as a guest speaker, and I actually managed to shake his hand. Never watched it ever since.
Was Stan Lee at the last Comic Con? I'm trying to remember it because my friend actually went to Comic Con, and I think he started queuing.
Yeah,
it was the line for the Stan Lee autograph.
Yeah,
and he had a comic book that he wanted to get signed, and so he stayed in line. I think he stayed in line from the early hours of Friday morning, or it might have been Thursday morning, and queued all the way through till Saturday afternoon when Stan Lee turned up.
Yeah.
Stan Lee turned up, signed 11 autographs, and then left. There was people queuing the whole thing. My mate was at the front. His sister just helped him do toilet breaks and stuff like that because she was around all the other show. He didn't see any of the other show. He said, but he had to do this. Now, Stan Lee, I've heard, just doesn't turn up to things anymore. It's real limited time that he gets because he's getting old. He's an old man now.
He's really old, and the only reason I got to shake his hand is because in that moment when Andy was on a toilet break, actually, and I was just hanging around this area, and he was quickly being ushered through to go to on his way to this the speech he was going to give. And literally, I just pushed past him. I said, stand with my hand. And he just, he smiled, came to shook my hand, and he said, thanks for coming. And I said, no, thank you.
That's excellent.
It was a great moment. Loved it.
The last thing I had to ask my mate after this, I said, cool, I'll tell you what, that must have been I said, what did you have him sign? He said, I went up to him and I gave him a copy of Spider-Man #1. I went, you got a copy of Spider-Man #1? He goes, yeah, original, pristine, Spider-Man #1. And I got him to sign it. I said, what did you say when he gave it to you? And he went, he looked at it, he looked up at me and he went, you don't look old enough to have one of these. And then just signed it. And then that was it. And then he just gave it back to him. So I was just like, mate, fair play to you. You seeked and conquered there. That was a really good hit. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really good. So
absolutely.
It's going to be something to do. We're going to try and do some stuff. As much as we can. Limited technology, obviously. We're going to try some phones and stuff like that. We're trying some recording stuff. Do maybe some features from the show. Maybe even just do some edited video footage. But we'll get some interesting stuff. But yeah, we'll go into it more over time. What to expect and what we're going to get out of it and stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Same here.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna get right into topics now. I'm gonna
Cool.
let you start first, Mike, because
Cool. All right.
I'm kind of in two minds of what to put in my topics. I'm like,
Okay.
there's been a few things I've touched this week, but I just don't know what I want to tell people about. So
Yeah, I see.
you're gonna kick your one off with your first review.
Yeah, sure. Right. So I finished another TV series this week, and it was the J.J. Abrams produced 11/22/63, and this was streamed earlier this year on Hulu, which is one of the other streaming services that is available, I think, only in the USA or only in North America. Anyway, it's one of those shows that has got an excellent setup. It's based on a Stephen King novel, by the way, of the same name. So you know you're in safe hands there. Basically, the setup spins the whole: if you could go back in time, would you kill Hitler before before he became a dictator, or
Yeah.
before when he was still an infant, like that? And it spins that around. Instead, it says, if you could go back in time, would you try and save JFK from being assassinated?
Hmm.
So it stars James Franco as an English slash history teacher, high school teacher, and he finds a sort of like a secret portal at the back of a diner he always goes to, and when he steps through this portal, he ends up in 1960.
So basically, they've ripped off Goodnight Sweetheart with that Nicholas Lyndhurst.
I've got to be honest, I have not seen it.
Wow, who would have thought Nicholas Lyndhurst would have been that original?
Well, you know what? It's
You have to trust me with
I am gonna have to.
it.
It's it's now basically, so he goes through his portal, and it's 1960 when he goes through it, and so basically he's got 3 years to plan how to stop JFK being assassinated on 11, November 22nd, 1963. Hence the title 11/22/63.
Okay.
And like I've already said, it's a brilliant premise. The problem with this show, it rests a little too heavily it relies a little too heavily on the strength of this premise. And the first episode, the pilot, is brilliant, and there's some very intriguing stuff done with the final episode too. Everything in between is kind of a letdown, and it kind of meanders a bit,
Hmm.
and it even becomes a bit soapy at times because it focuses less on. Yeah, sorry. Let me start my sentence again. Actually, with this kind of setup, you've got so much potential there as a thriller. You know what you can do with this. You know, yeah, and instead, as you can see from the picture that's coming up now, instead it tends to focus more on James Franco's relationship with a woman that he meets back in the 60s.
Oh,
Which,
that doesn't paint the picture that the premise of what he's
yeah,
there to do. It's just like you're not there to have a romance, buddy.
well, but I mean, there is a place for romance in a story like this. There really is, but the focus is then shifted too much onto this relationship, in my opinion. And I thought, well, if you go back and you realize, you know what, Lee Harvey Oswald had nothing to do with this. It's all a much bigger picture, So like you can build on all these conspiracy theories that have been going on for years around JFK's assassination. Instead, it becomes something like out of a soap opera, in the 60s
Hmm.
instead. But by all means, it's still a very entertaining watch. It's not a bad show. It's just not as great as you'd want it, not as great as you'd want it to be. And
Hmm.
James Franco, I think we forget far too often how brilliant an actor he is. Actually,
Okay.
he is. Uh, he's recently, I feel like people tend to associate him more with the comedies he's been doing with Seth Rogen and that
Yeah.
crowd. But I've always had more of a soft spot for serious actors who reveal an unexpected funny bone rather than, comedians say, well, what I really actually want to do is act, and go all serious and method on it all. So no, this was a really good reminder that when he wants it, he can anchor a whole, not just a whole film, but a whole show. And J.J. Abrams and co. I mean, they are smart enough. At the very least, they're smart enough to realize that this premise works as an event series, so as a mini series, rather than sort of like a number, rather than stretching it across a number of seasons, which I think happens far too often with TV shows these days. So it's 8 episodes. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end, and at least it delivers on that front, I'd say.
All right. Okay. Well, that's pretty. Yeah, that sounds interesting. I don't know. I mean, the 8-part miniseries. I like that. I think American shows do go on a little bit too stretched. I think, if you can tell a story, we were saying this with Stranger Things, weren't we? We were kind of saying, if you can tell a story from beginning to end, then great. You've got a bit of closure and you feel refreshed, and then it's kind of like, right, either you go new or, I suppose you could expand on the story, but I mean, I found that a little bit with House of Cards is very good.
Yeah.
But I felt it kind of just went on a little bit too much. And this is the thing with an 8-part, it's just like you could be real focused.
Yeah.
And that really interests me because, like I said, it's a beginning and end. But I don't know whether I'm sold on James Franco. I'm I've seen him mostly in the comedy stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
And I think Spider-Man, and I've seen him in a couple of other things. I don't know. Well, he's got more depth than I think he shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of the roles that he takes, I think, because he can laugh at himself. But normally, when an actor can actually laugh at themselves,
absolutely.
Then they've actually, they've got a good idea of, what they're doing, and it's quite calculated. It's kind of, mate, I always go on about The Rock. I'm always going about Rock. There's a guy that completely laughs at himself in some of his roles, and the more he kind of does that, he realizes The Rock is like a parody of a real, of a kind of like a superhero or something like that, and he kind of plays on it. But
you better have a sense of humor when your name is Dwayne. So
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but I mean, he's from Heritage, man. He's from Heritage, that guy. Yeah, I mean, do you know WWF much?
Oh yeah, gosh, I remember watching it.
Do you remember the 80s WWF? Do you remember Jimmy Superfly Snuka? Do you remember him?
No, I do not. No, I do not actually.
He was an 80s old school, like crazy old school wrestler, and that's The Rock's uncle.
And right, okay.
Yeah. And Rocky Johnson was his dad.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah, Rocky Johnson was his dad. He's got just like wrestling family, just big time. So anyway, digress as usual. So that's an interesting one, definitely. I mean, they hit them. Yeah. So they're going back to actually stop, supposedly, the Lee Harvey Oswald situation.
Yeah.
They're going back to stop that. Now, do they use it as an opportunity to kind of like poke at the CIA?
They didn't.
Okay.
You kind of, I mean, got to have a huge spoiler alert now thing going across the screen, but you kind of go, oh, so it was Lee Harvey Oswald all along? Oh, okay. Kind of like that, you have an opportunity to do something far more interesting. I'm not saying that aliens should come down from, the skies of Dallas.
It's not a Spielberg movie. Which he seems to do with everything now. I know, Indiana Jones. Spielberg.
The aliens come in a spaceship and get into a fight with the dinosaurs.
That's it. They just get it on. Or even better, the Dinobots. That would be even better.
There you go, yeah.
I'd watch that. That'd be awesome. Right, I've probably part of part of my reference to The Rock neatly goes into a series I've been watching, which is Ballers.
Oh,
Ballers.
Right. I'm interested in that. What's
Ballers.
that like?
Okay, Ballers. Have you ever seen Entourage?
I've not, but it is one of those shows that has been on my list for
Mm.
eons to watch.
Okay, so premise of Entourage, movie star based on Mark Wahlberg's life. You know, Vinny Chase, who's the superstar, the up and coming actor, A-lister, up and coming A-lister in Hollywood, and it's all of his boys around him, his agent, his best mate, is and all this, and how they interact with the world they live in, where money for nothing and chicks for free, basically.
Yeah.
That's the way they operate. Ballers, very simple comedy. Also executive produced by Mark Wahlberg, same as Entourage. This time it's starring The Rock, and he plays ex-football star, American football star, NFL star, that joins a finance company,
Right.
to try and hook in top-paid NFL players to let them manage their money, let them manage their wealth.
Yeah.
Very much like Entourage, it's not so much about the job that they're hired for, because one of the Jeremy Piven, who played Ari Gold, which was the super agent in Entourage, kind of stole the show a number of times, and it's almost like they've taken that character. Or mix that character with the E character, which is his best friend, is kind of the heart of the show. So you've got the ruthless businessman that can cut deals and move people around in places, and then you couple it with the heart of gold professional athlete, the caring ex-professional athlete that wants to look after people, and then you squeeze them together, and then you've got The Rock, and you've got this, but you've got some really, it's a lad show. It is such a lad, same as Entourage was. Entourage was a complete lad show. It kind of it made you go, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, God, I would love that. How awesome is that? You've got parties, you've got fast cars, you've got all these kind of boys, boys being boys type situation, but with these pro athletes. I wouldn't say that it was as interesting as the Entourage situation, because the Entourage is it's the film world, which the film world is kind of open to a very diverse group of people.
I think you speak to a global audience really with that.
You do. You speak to a global audience, but also to be an actor, it's just they come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. With an athlete, you have a kind of
an NFL player too,
and specifically an NFL player. You can throw in lots of NFL stars that are oh, hey, there's a cameo of an NFL player. I don't know who they are. I'm sure if I was in America, I would be like, oh, great. And there's all these guys coming in, hey, I used to, play with The Rock, and you're a really ace guy, and all this kind of stuff. And it's just it has not as much effect on me. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, go into Entourage and Snoop Dogg turns up, or Harvey Keitel, or any of these kind of guys. They just suddenly turn up, and it's just wow, he was in it. Or one of the best cameos was Val Kilmer. No, if you go and watch Entourage, the whole kind of I think there's about 5 seasons of it, and it is possible to watch the whole 5 seasons in about 3 weeks, because my mate did it. He was hooked. You won't even know where he was in it until the credits. It's really good. He plays such an awesome character in there.
Right.
But Ballers, I would say it's a good bit of fun. I would say it's if you like The Rock, if you like just turn your brain off, and they've got a real nice comedy edge in there as well. Which they really do play to a T. I would say that it's worth checking out, definitely, especially if you haven't got the fix of, you kind of miss your Entourage fix, because they made the movie recently, which was just a very long episode, and I just felt that I kind of missed the series, but they did everything they possibly could to it.
Yeah.
The other highlight for me as well of this is Rob Corddry, which plays Joe in it. You might remember him from Hot Tub Time Machine.
I do remember him. Yeah,
he is hilarious. He plays exactly the same character, and yeah, just for pure kicks, he's really worth the entry fee. So yeah, recommend it. Whatever. Don't expect it to be Shakespeare, and if you've only got kind of limited time to actually spend on a box set or something like that, there are a lot better shows out there you could probably spend your time on. A lot more kind of deep, involving things. But if you just want to turn it off, watch some fast cars and some pretty women, and and live the dream of a professional sports star in America, then yeah, by all means.
There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
That's it. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, fancy talking about a graphic novel?
Why not?
Somebody fancy talking about a graphic
novel. I've read a new one this past week, and it's got quite unusual title.
What, even more than sex criminals?
Actually, yeah, you're right. Gosh,
how can it be more than sex criminals?
This one is slightly more on the nose. It's called Bitch Planet.
Bitch Planet.
Bitch Planet. Yeah. Right. So after
the visual straight away.
Yeah. Right. So
there
Bitch Planet is published by Image Comics. It's fairly new. It was first published in December 14, and it's an ongoing series. It was written by Kelly Sue DeConnick, my name is, and illustrated by Valentine Delandro. So it's set in a dystopian reality where non-compliant women get arrested and shipped to an off-planet prison.
As you do.
Exactly. It sounds like a misogynist joke that you'd hear down the pub, but it's actually a defiantly proud feminist piece of work. It is it's
very like Orange is the New Black.
I was going to, you know what? I was going to say, you cut me to the chase. I was going to say, if you need a log line to be sold on this, I'd say imagine Total Recall meets Orange is the New Black.
Oh, it is okay.
Yeah, I mean it's deeply satirical, and it depicts men in not the most flattering light. But I think we've done a fair amount of we've done our fair share of misogynist, sexist things over the centuries to deserve a bit of hate in that sense. But fact is, just to give an example, like the very first issue opens with a man who's clearly committed who's clearly has been cheating on his wife.
Okay.
And the wife gets shipped off to the prison because she flips out on him for finding out that he was cheating on her. So somehow she's in the wrong in this scenario, in that sense. It's deeply satirical, and it basically shows what an extremist patriarchal society would look like, because you still get people these days making the odd misogynist quip and all that, and I feel like to some extent social media has accentuated this in some quarters. So that's what the comic book plays on a lot, basically. So it says, let's take some of these feelings, these very negative feelings that some men still show towards women, and actually twist it a bit and show what it would look like if they actually had their way in this dystopian reality. But despite this setup, the majority of the female characters and it is mostly women in this comic, they're far from being victims, though. I mean, they've been victimized, but they're actually some of them are quite kick-ass characters. Mainly, main character Kamau Kogo, who's the lady in the front and center, and the image you can see right now. And she feels lifted from a 70s exploitation movie. And it's written very well because there are moments where you feel she's either being victimized or objectified by the men, and she somehow, in the space of the panel, she twists things around and actually has the upper hand on them. So it's really cool. I'm gonna say it makes for an uncomfortable read at times, but it's quite a rewarding read, I must say. And
what's the kind of popularity of it? Is it kind of like been noted as quite a feminist, a positive move? Because comic books, they haven't got the best record when it comes to, kind of, I don't know. I want to say satirizing the female form in a certain way, you know.
Well, Liam, you just need to see how a lot of the Marvel and DC female characters have been drawn over the decades to see that it doesn't take a genius to realize that the comic book industry can be deeply sexist, or has been deeply sexist at times, which is why it's very welcome when characters like Miss Marvel that we discussed last week, or Jessica Jones, is our own TV show now, and Captain Marvel. It's refreshing when you see these female characters that actually get the treatment that they deserve, and actually they end up being well-rounded, fully rounded, fleshed-out characters like their male counterparts. And and despite the setup, I always laugh when I say the title. In Bitch Planet, they're actually they are fully rounded characters, most of them. So no, it's very interesting. It might not be make for addictive reading like some other graphic novels out there, but it's definitely worth checking out. On curiosity factor alone, I'd say.
Excellent. So that sounds pretty good. Do you think we'll be? Do you think they'll have kind of a presence at Comic Con? How long has this been out?
Since December 2014. So actually, I'd be really interested to see if any of them turn up. Do you know what I was thinking about though? When you said your friend had the first issue of Spider-Man to have it signed, I get all my comics digitally now. So, what would I get them to sign? My Kindle.
Well, you could sell the Kindle, I suppose. That'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But what do we do now? I mean, the collector factor. I mean, to have a physical thing is always,
over there on my shelf, there's quite a few print graphic novels that I did get over the years before I got my Kindle. And I've got to be honest, there are a few which I say, the occasional one where I say, no, you know what, I want to have this in print because what if one day I do want to have it signed by someone, because if they're the ones that I'm really into, it's worth getting the print version, I'd say. Like at Kapow Comic Con back here, 5 years ago already it is. I bought my copy of Watchmen, and I had Dave Gibbons, the illustrator, the artist that's illustrated Watchmen, and so for that I'm extremely grateful. And I got Mark Miller, who wrote Civil War, to sign Civil War as well. So
brilliant.
Yeah, so for those occasions, you should definitely have a print copy, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, some people go on autograph hunting and just get everything signed, the real collectors and everything. I like little things. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I've collected vinyl in my younger days, and I've just started dusting it off and everything. And I'm still quite proud of the collection. But yeah, it is getting to such a digital age now where it's just like, what do we hold on to? What do we actually? Are people still? I mean, we get this with games. It's like they keep releasing these collector's editions with these big lumps of plastic, or a fake journal of the adventure. Or I think the latest Tomb Raider's got like stitch-on badges that you can wear. And it's
Oh,
kind of like, I was like, oh yeah, it's great and everything, but then it's just like, is that really worth 80 quid?
yeah, no, I know.
For the privilege. I know there's been games with like night vision goggles that actually are night vision goggles, which
Oh, okay.
sounds pretty cool. But then you're paying like 120 quid for the privilege and the 40 quid game. So I don't know. It's I do kind of, I think that I think there's many tiers of collectism or collectization or something like that, and I think that signatures collection, yeah, is there an art of collection? I don't know if there's a.
Oh no, I'm sure there is. Gosh,
But
do you know the book High Fidelity by Nick Hornby?
yes, with
Yeah,
Beano's,
yeah.
I've been in the record shop.
Oh, all
So
right, okay.
you
Well,
know,
then you'll know in the book there's like pages dedicated to the art of collecting, how you do it properly, and his when his friend says, "What? How have you sorted your collection alphabetically?" He goes, "No, no, he said autobiographical." I was like,
yeah,
"This is a
brilliant.
collect. That's a
Yeah,
collect."
it is superb as well. Yeah, because that was based on, I think it was based on Beano's bookstore down in London.
Okay.
And then of course they adapted it to the John Cusack film out and made it out in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's where it was, because my uncle used to go in there all the time, and he took me in there once. He said, "Oh, this is the place that High Fidelity is based on." I was like, "Oh, right, wow."
That's
So
nice.
I didn't know that.
I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Top five, top five,
Top
top
five,
five.
top five records.
I don't know. I hate like, if I ask someone like top five comic books, top five this, top five that. We've done this with Marvel, haven't we?
We have done it with Marvel. Yeah.
We've agreed on some. We've agreed on most, I think, but there's
Yeah.
just the few ones. I think let's save that for another discussion sometime.
Of course, yeah. Because you're
Blow
going to
that
need
one up.
pitchforks and torches for that one. You really do.
What are you saying about Captain America?
You know what? It's Andy who loves the first Avenger so much. I really
He
don't
loves.
get it.
We can say this with him not being here, and maybe it will spark some conversation. But the first Avenger, like I said, it's open for discussion.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think it was the best film. Andy really, really likes it, but there you go. Variety is the spice of life. And yeah.
Fact is, Liam, opinions are like assholes. We've all got one, and we think ours is the only one that doesn't stink. So,
very true. Very true. Smells of roses.
Indeed.
Beautiful thing.
What else have you got on your list?
Well, see, I've watched two films this weekend.
Right.
I've watched two films this weekend, and I was actually tempted to talk about Mad Max, but I think I want to prepare for it a little bit better, because for Mad Max is a year-old film, but it's now popped up online a little bit more as to being this almost like commending the production team for what an amazing achievement it was, for live stunts and everything. And I think I want to prepare a little bit more for that, so I probably won't go into that at the moment. But the two films I watched, and this was kind of like, I thought I'll give it a go. Bad Neighbors 2.
Right.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
Zac Efron. And Sausage Party.
Hey, actually, I'm really interested in Sausage Party.
So, okay, we'll quote you on that for the literature. Mike says, from Mike 2 Cents, I'm really interested in Sausage Party. Well, what I could probably do, I mean, both of them are Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen humor. I mean, you could lump both of those in. I kind of understand where I better start with one or the other. I'll better get more structured if I can. Okay, Bad Neighbors 2, Zac Efron, Seth Rogen. Following on from the original Bad Neighbors, a young couple, Seth Rogen and his wife, have a young child in their new house, and then right next to their house, there is a fraternity, a university fraternity, led by Zac Efron, and also co-starring. What is James Franco's little brother's name?
Dave Franco.
Dave Franco. He's in there as well, and he plays his best friend in it as well. I must admit, it was quite funny. Obviously, you took a couple of the trailers. Bad Neighbours is almost a carbon copy of that original movie. The only difference this time is that they're trying to sell the house that they're living in after they've got rid of the fraternity, and they're blissfully, and the Zac Efron character has moved on with his life, along with Dave Franco and all those guys. And now a new fraternity has moved in, but it's a female fraternity.
It's a sorority.
Well, it's not, because that's one of the kickers of it as well, is that sororities apparently can't party. So yes, so they set up a sorority that can party, but actually it's a fraternity for women. So yeah, very kind of confusing, and it's kind of like they try and make something new. It's all very cutesy, you know. It does show the difference between girls and boys when it comes to their attitudes at college and university in America. I mean, it's never really had a it's never really had a clean rep. You know, it's always quite like, you know, always pictured as like these massive parties and almost orgy classification, but I think it actually hits home that it's incredibly objectifying to women in some of these, and I think that's what drives these young girls into making this sorority, because, you know, they go to their first, you know, they're young girls and they go to their first party, and immediately you know, it's like there's stripper poles there. There's kind of like this way to, you know, to get the dick or something like that, and everybody get drunk, you know, rohypnol punch, all that kind of stuff, and it is all very quite negative, and girls are kind of like, you know, supposed to, you know, it is set out like almost like a cheap strip club, and, you know, girls are supposed to just get on with that, and, you know, that this is the way they meet guys. And I suppose I can see why they do it. It's kind of I think they've put a little over, you know, aside from the comedy, they've put that kind of overarching sense of objectifying. They put in there Chloe Grace Moretz, that you might remember from she was Hit Girl in Kick-Ass. She heads up the female sorority cast. She does quite a good job. She's quite a cool character. She still looks quite young. She's, you know, she's supposed to be in her 20s now. She still looks like she's about 12. But I think that's maybe because we've seen her since she was 12 on the screen. So it's just like I'm not really seeing her grow up very much. But it's a bit like an Emma Watson situation. I guess. But anyway. So anyway, we get into this thing, and it is just, you know, it's just quick hits. The editing is very strange on it, because you can kind of like, you can tell they kind of riffed a little bit. They went a bit off script and they left it in, and they just thought, oh, this is too good not to do. We'll just throw this in. We'll just throw this in, and we'll throw this in. It's just like, it's almost like the editing was just like, well, this is too good not to be in. It makes no sense why we're doing this, but we're going to throw it in. Yeah. And you have a lot of that in it. So I wouldn't say that, if you see the first one, this is nothing new. You don't need to watch the second one. If you've seen the first one, you know, I think you're good. Unless you have a massive desire to see Zac Efron dance around half naked. And Seth Rogen to dance around half naked as well, if that's your kind of thing. And, you know, a few laughs along the way, an easy, you know, chug a beer, watch a silly movie. But yeah, if you've seen the first one, I wouldn't say this brings anything new at all. And you know, if it's on Sky or something, then yeah, a free movie definitely. Now, Sausage Party, just easily comparable with This Is the End. If you remember, This Is the End.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, This Is the End. So that was Seth Rogen, James Franco, and all their buddies, Jonah Hill, Danny McBride, all those guys just in there playing parodies themselves and everything. This is almost exactly the same, only the parodies they are paying CGI fruit characters or grocery characters. It's all
like
set
Toy
in
Story with food and
It
sweating.
is like Toy Story with food, but it's really sick in places.
Okay.
It's really rude. I mean, it's really, some of the stuff in it, I was just like, did they just say that? I don't know if that. Oh, it's funny if they did, but it leaves you with that kind of like, oh, should I be laughing at this? I'm not too sure. I don't know. Yeah, I felt a little bit uncomfortable. There was comments on. There was one part. There was like I think there was I don't know. Was it a Nazi schnapps bottle?
Yeah.
Saying exterminate the Jews.
Oh, God.
I was like,
oh dear.
I was like,
did
that happen? And just really kind of like little one-liners that you just kind of like go, oh, and then I don't know, they go through it all, and you just kind of think, right, this is mainly the main whole objective. This is about sex. It is about sex. It's all like the wiener getting his end away almost, and this epic adventure, this wiener and bun that has this relationship and everything. It's right. Just if you want to watch a dirty CGI, if you want to watch a version, I suppose. I mean, it's probably the most risque animated thing since maybe Felix. Was it Felix the Cat? Was it what was the
oh God, no, Felix the Cat. No, he was.
No,
he was
Felix the Cat. No, I'm not talking about Felix the Cat. I'm talking about the 60s animation, which was like the political. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know which one you.
I should really get my references better for this, rather than Felix the Cat. He was quite a sweet cat.
If it's Felix the Cat with a little yellow bag which he can pull stuff out of it, no,
I'm not too sure. This is where it all goes. Well, this is where the lawsuits come. This is it. This is when it all happens.
Mickey Mouse, a porn actor.
That was it. Yeah, I will get that. I will actually. But that was kind of risque animating. Back then, and this is, I mean, like I said, it takes the Disney Pixar genre and makes it completely just, it's almost like, okay, another probably good parody is Team America World Police,
right? Yeah.
But I think Team America World Police did it a lot better. Right. I think they did it a lot cleverer, a lot more catchphrasy and stuff like that, a little more acceptable. At the time, I know it was like, whoa, this, you can't say that, you can't get away with that. But then they created a bit of fun with it. With this one, it's just like, it's, I think maybe it's because I'm my age I am or something like that. But, I'm sure at the school, if there is a USB stick with this being passed around at school, I'm sure people are in fits because of how dirty it is. But I don't know. I don't know whether
And you know what? That probably is happening. Well, not right now. It's 9:30 in the evening. I hope no one's in school at this time. But yeah, I can imagine that's actually happening.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, it is what it is. It is kind of like, I kind of got it on. I found it entertaining in places, but mostly I was just going, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did it. I don't know. Well, maybe I'm getting old. I was looking at films and going, I think this was too much. No, I don't think. I understand why it was there, and I, fair play to them. They spent a hell of a lot of money, and it must have taken a long time to do this because the animation is almost Pixar quality.
Yeah.
To actually get this out there, all for for the effect of basically dick jokes, you know, for the whole thing. It's a very expensive one, but you know, if that's what they wanted to do, then you know, game on.
Yeah.
If it does well, I'm sure Sausage Party 3, who knows?
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, check it out. I mean, if you're into, you know, This Is the End. I thought This Is the End was just hilarious. I thought they were just on point with the writing and the comedy of that. This one didn't feel as refined as that, and the cast lineup in it was a lot more heavy. I thought it was like it had a lot more big names in it, playing some weird roles like Ed Norton and people like that. But I just don't.
Yeah.
You know, I would have liked to see This Is, well, you can't really do This Is the End too, but a similar kind of comedy to that, I think, rather than
does it have a Backstreet Boys single at the end?
Doesn't. See,
but then when it's not. There you go.
The end
doesn't do it for me.
I'm not even going to say it. It'll be mad spoilers, but yeah. If you make it to the end, even if you don't want to watch the middle of the film, watch the end. And then it'll sum it. You don't want to miss the end, because it's just like, no matter how much you're not enjoying this film, the end is, it kind of, it goes somewhere where you just go, okay, and it's one of those quite uncomfortable cinema viewing.
Okay.
Don't take your nan to see it. That's all.
Right.
Don't let Nan see that.
Actually, you know what? We should actually do it one day, sort of like a compilation of the worst films to watch with your nan. I think The Wolf of Wall.
Maybe I think there's open like maybe I don't know, worst one to watch with, I don't know, somebody that knows nothing about it, because say if you watch like you get someone that's never watched Star Wars to watch, you know, the latest Star Wars, like Episode 7, and then you have to explain.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well,
I actually my wife and I, when the new Star Wars came out, she hadn't watched the original 3. So she hadn't watched the originals, and I was like, I can't believe it. So we actually sat and we watched the original 3. Didn't bother with the prequels. Watched the original 3 and never that. And then it was just like, that made so much more sense. It was like, why? Got to watch the original 3 before you watch 7.
I know, yeah.
But it was one of those things, you know, trying to explain to someone it's just hard work, really. Yeah.
How are we doing for time?
I think we're just about done, by the way. I think we're gonna have to we'll probably have to wait for next week with the other little bits that we had. We've already mentioned about our coming up Comic-Con events. Also, I didn't mention the new logo. I forgot to mention it.
Mention the logo.
Okay, I will. Wait, okay, I will. All right, new logo, guys. We've now got a new logo, kindly done by someone very close to me, and they did a great job. It looks like a nice comic book logo. It just actually gives us a little bit of branding. I think it'd look cool on a t-shirt, but I don't think we're there yet. Who knows? Maybe Comic-Con t-shirts might have for a bit of man cave.
Can you say that she likes the idea of t-shirts?
Yes, you got our designer was just like, I can do that, and it's like, I don't know whether we're ready for t-shirts yet, but I think if I would
look, can you imagine just walking around and even meeting other people, say, "Oh, ManCave, what's that?" You know, you would raise so much awareness.
Just underwear, just get some underwear, just walk around with some underwear, just hanging out, like, what is ManCave, and that kind of thing. That could work as well. Right up until you get thrown out. Yeah, that would work.
That could work too.
Yeah, I mean, I would like I said, we're going to share this on social media. We're going to try and get some more. Like, if you like this video, if you don't like it, comment, do whatever. We'll put, you know, we want to get some feedback from people out there. We are getting viewers from Italy thanks to Mike's post. We're getting most viewers from the UK. Yeah, share by all means, interact with the channel, smash the like button, and even subscribe. It would be really nice. But yeah, we'll see. We're going to get better.
Yes.
If you don't like us now, just watch us in a couple of months because it gets better every show. Honest, it does. Or it gets worse every show. Depends on what your opinion is, as we've already said.
But yeah.
So
we'll be back next week with an extra dose of Parma as well. So
we will. He's got to do double the amount of reviews.
There you go.
He's got to make up for it. So I'm gonna try and watch some more things this week if I can. It's quite a busy week coming up.
Yeah.
As usual, as we start getting locked down into winter. Ugh.
Well, we just skipped autumn. Awesome.
I don't even think of autumn. This is still summer, man. This ain't autumn. This is still summer. It's supposed to be autumn right now, but it's actually still hot. It's just really nice. But
it really is. Gosh,
yeah, winter's coming. You did see a Game of Thrones as well. I saw a poster. It looks like Game of Thrones is going to be returning to us in June. Oh
no, it's supposed to. They
because they pushed
it to winter time because
they
want it to because winter is coming. So
yeah, but no, so they are postponing it to June because it was supposed to be April, wasn't it? And then I've seen a poster that says it's in June now. So they've already pushed it a couple of months to then. We'll try and get that confirmed. I think that might be a good one for Andy. Andy is
absolutely
all things gut coming from Andy. Right, I'm going to head off. We have families to see. So thank you very much for joining us, Mike. Thank you very much as ever for your views. And join us again for our next episode of ManCave.
Cool. See you later. Bye.
Bye now. Bye.